Good afternoon. Welcome to Big John Talks. I am John Hinks Jr., host of Big John Talks, and has been a while since I have recorded a podcast. But if you're going to do it right. And I would like to give a quick shout out to Mary Kate Spires for being my accountability partner in helping me set up the new revitalized Big John Talks. So thank you so much, Mary. Appreciate it so much. So today's guest is Corie Minico with Remax at the Lake. And Corie and I have gotten to know each other over the last 3 months, and I felt like she would be the first guest that I would have on Big John Talks because I just love Corie, and she brings so much value in the real estate industry. And I mean, we talk a lot about real estate, don't we?
Oh, we do it every day, all day.
That's exactly right.
Sometimes in our sleep.
Yep. Real estate and cooking after hours, of course. That is another hot topic nowadays, but we'll stick to real estate today.
There you go.
So, Corie, thanks for being on the podcast with me today. I'm super excited having you here, and it is July 22nd, and I don't even feel like we're halfway through the summer with the way this market has been. I mean, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Tired.
Tired?
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean,
challenging.
It's a challenging market. Something I don't think you and I have ever faced before in the years of industry. How long have you been in real estate?
6.5 years.
6.5 years. And tell me a little bit about those 6.5 years. Give me a brief description of Corie Minico and the real estate industry.
Oh, I love it. At first, I was really scared. I didn't know if this was what I was going to love and envision for my life, but I did it. I love it. I don't work a day.
How'd you fall into it?
Ooh, my husband bought a bar and decided that I needed to go into real estate versus chiropractic school.
both involve drinking, so that's good.
Yeah,
nice.
we still do that every now and then.
Still do it every now and then. Yep, that's right. So, I mean, have you guys been in the Midlands for 6.5 years, or were you all in the Midlands longer than this?
I've actually been in the Midlands my entire life.
Your entire life? Okay,
yes.
Like what area?
I've never left the 29036.
290. That's a good way to put it. That's
Except
right.
when I'm selling people into other areas and their zip codes.
But that area, Chapin, is just it's just, if you compare it to what it was 10 years ago, I mean
it's grown. Well, back in 2016, I think is when they took down Fat Buddies and Chapin Furniture, and you had the Ritzel and the bakeries in Napa, and that all, that changed everything. And then they did the facelift in other areas, but go back 20 years ago, where I remember, it's completely different. Then my parents from 1976, they still live in the same home on Wessinger. It's insane what the growth is.
So even with all the growth and all the change in that area, what keeps you there?
My family. I'm one of 8.
One of 8?
Mm-hmm. I'm number 5.
Number 5? I did not know that. That's great.
It's hard to leave them. I mean, I can envision myself being in Florida, and I'd love to go to Florida. Don't get me wrong. The beach is definitely up my alley. And, being here my entire life, I'd love to venture out. But at the end of the day, I learned at a young age, family matters. And you don't get that time back. So I just travel a lot to make up for it.
That's fine. That's perfect. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I can't imagine a better place to live, though, in Chapin. I mean, although I don't live in Chapin, but.
Well, the schools are great. It's one of those towns. I mean, you could possibly leave your doors unlocked. My parents, we never locked the doors growing up. They do now, but, it's just, I feel safe there.
Yeah.
And the schools are great. The lake is impossible to replace. Once you've had that, you can't just go find Miss Murray anywhere else.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that's a big factor.
Quite a centerpiece, though, is Lake Murray. I mean, like, what are you seeing as far as the real estate market, the trends that's going around that body of water? I mean, it is pretty fascinating to watch it.
Well, when you start kind of running into some, big people from California, top surgeons, coming and they're finding Lake Murray. It's kind of interesting when you're just floating in Sandy Beach or Hurricane Cove. And I'm a super extrovert, so I can talk to anybody. If someone looks interesting, like I'll just swim over. Like, are you from here? And so what's bringing them is obviously is the cost of living. We're so blessed on so many levels there.
We are.
And then the lake You just
Yeah,
what you can get and for your money on that water and those views and that access is priceless.
it is priceless. It is. I mean, I grew up on Lake Murray a good bit. We have like a little room over the garage out there, over near Smallwood, if you know where that
Oh
is, of course. Yeah, and I love Lake Murray. I mean, I've seen the changes, but it still draws. It still just draws everyone there, and I just I really commend you as an agent in that area, though. I mean, like, what kind of challenges, though, as great as it is, what kind of challenges are you seeing representing buyers and so forth, or sellers in a market like this?
The biggest challenges is obviously inventory, and then you have, having a buyer, you're only as good as their finances when it comes to an offer. So navigating that and making it strategic to do everything you can in your power to get them what they want can be challenging when you have people coming from different areas that have an extensive cash flow. So that's probably been our biggest challenges. I would say it was also appraisals, but no one cares about that right now.
No, they don't.
They just want the home.
It's a shelter issue. I think people are looking for a place to lay their head down at the moment.
But I'll tell you another challenge that we have is we have tons of sellers that want to sell their home top of the market and take advantage of your really good interest rates.
Right.
And they want to go somewhere else, but they're scared of the fact of selling their home and not having somewhere to go. So I wish that some of these sellers would just kind of jump off the cliff with me, trust me, and put their house on the market. Because if you have 500 sellers and then you have 300 of them that are looking to stay local,
That's right.
there's your buyer. But they're in the same seat as the other seller that is petrified.
Correct.
So it's being strategic and saying, yeah, I'll sell my house, make it contingent on, I need somewhere else to go.
But therein lies the strength of the local real estate agent that's representing you, someone that's from the area, has relationships with the other agents that's in that area, and with your reputation, of course, you coming by. I mean, people do want to make deals. They do want to help each other out in this market.
And I don't really like to wait till they go on to the MLS. And most of the time, like if I have something coming up, I can't tell another agent about it.
Right.
I can't go on and do the, coming soons like some of the other states in our area. And, they'll have 50 to 60 offers on them in the coming soon status before they even get listed. Where we're not exactly able to do that. Now, do I talk to agents and, say, hey, I have a client looking for this. If you have anything coming up, please let me know in the very, before it goes live or when it goes live, so I could get at least a scheduled showing.
Right.
Just at least give them that opportunity. And some agents do it to me. And, we all work together at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're with Coldwell, Remax, Keller Williams, Exit. We're all working together.
Absolutely.
So we're here to help each other. They need my listings just as bad as I need their listings.
And I am finding that the initial onset of when we began having this inventory problem, it was a little haywire, but I am starting to see a lot of the agents in the town are starting to settle and kind of figure out and navigate and pivot on how to best set up their buyers and their sellers. It's giving them a chance to research how to best do that, communicate with other agents. I think the game has changed a good bit, but it's changed for the better in a way. And we're starting to see, I mean, someone like you is truly looking out for the homeowner right now. And that's what we're looking for, is the homeowners, right? That we're looking for people that are coming in, they're going to invest in the community, they're going to be part of the community, especially a community like Chapin.
So what I've had to do a little bit different is I get plugged in. I mean, meet people that you wouldn't normally meet, say hello, make a difference in your community. And, that way not be scared to go out and ask someone for coffee or ask for that referral, or, if I know someone in the neighborhood and I have a client that's looking in that neighborhood, I will contact my contact in that neighborhood and ask them to please connect me to whoever I need to connect to. Like, I'm going to hit up Ivy Green tomorrow.
That's right.
Yes, because my mother-in-law needs to live in there. So I'm going to door knock.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to ask them how they like their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And make sure it's appropriate for my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So we can get her house sold and she can go where she's going. But I want to know where she's going and I want to know she's going to be taken care of. And I would do that for a client. I have.
Absolutely. And speaking of connecting, I feel like that might be the one superpower that stands out most about you when I think of you is your ability to connect not only just people but businesses with each other. I commend you for that because I've never met more people in the last 3 months of knowing, aside from knowing you and meeting all these cool people that you are connected with.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit about that if you don't mind. I mean, you're so in tune with your community in the business, and I'm not just saying that just to say that. I mean, it is so the proof is in the pudding. I mean, if you can name any businesses or activities that you just see shine, I mean, in Chapin right now.
Well, I've been a business owner and I
Yeah.
know how hard it is to, get up every day and go work. And, restaurant industry, someone will be the first one to blast you when something's terrible and the last one to tell you when something's great.
Right.
So, I've always been a giver.
Yeah.
That's kind of who I am. My husband calls me the savior sometimes. If I see someone's hurting, I see someone needs something, like, let's go. What do you need? I got you.
Yeah.
That's just my personality. That's who I am. It's how I was raised. And I get joy out of helping others. I want them to be successful, whether they're another agent.
Yeah.
I mean, I get calls all the time. How do you like it? How did you get started? I mean, I can give them the recipe to what I did.
Right.
There's
Right.
plenty of room for all of it to go around. Just helping them not go through the mistakes and the horror that I went through.
Right.
And my business is based off of referral. That's what I wanted. That was my business motto.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a referral based business.
And I mean, and I'm a big karma guy. I believe in the energy of the universe coming around. I really do. It's so cheesy, but I do.
You said that at Mio's one time. Yeah. It's like, we're just going to throw this offer out into the universe and we're just going to see if it kicks it back.
And it does. It kicks it back every single time. I mean, a positive mentality always comes up around or somehow, some way.
Well, you bring about what you think about. An event plus reaction equals outcome.
I'm going to write that one down and steal it.
It's true. So you can have a negative event, but if you turn around and make a positive outcome, you're more than likely, positive reaction, you're going to get that positive outcome.
Love it. So, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Corie, I mean, I appreciate you coming on here, but you said something earlier that kind of stuck with me, the recipe to your success. What's the biggest ingredient for the Corie Minico team at Remax? I mean, what's the biggest recipe for your success right now?
Communication.
Ooh. Yeah.
I am that person. I sleep with my phone. I know that's terrible. That has a little bit of my PTSD, but right now, everybody in my life knows that if I have a client who has been hightailing, trying to get a home, it doesn't matter where I'm at and what I'm doing. I mean, unless I'm with my family, of course, but sometimes they even know and they take that sacrifice with me that I got to go. Yeah. Like, this is their home and we got to help them. So
and right now,
communication is huge. And I would say that's the biggest thing in real estate. Pick up your phone.
Yeah.
Answer your texts. Respond to your emails. It's a domino effect. And if you don't know every aspect of what's going on, one domino in the middle, it is all going down.
It does. Sure.
So it's very important. Like, I love your team because if I don't get a hold of you, Shannon answers that phone. Like, we know what's going on. And I think communication has probably been the best success because I answer the phone, I respond. Whoever needs to get me, whenever they need to get me, can pretty much get me.
And I think that just comes down to you caring, which is really what it is. Really what
I really do.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I appreciate you coming on today. I mean, I'm here for any questions you may have right now for some of the listeners that that are going to be out there listening to you. I mean, any questions that I can help with along the way.
Well, give us some rundown on what rates are looking at. Like, can we just touch on this a tad? Like, what you see is the future? Everybody keeps talking about a crash. People keep saying, no, there's no crash.
Yeah.
So where is the lending side sitting?
I have a huge list of buyers in my computer looking for homes. And part of my job now is I call them my lowest hanging fruit because You can go out and fish for business, but I already have business in my pipeline right now. They just have not been able to execute a contract. So my job right now is keeping them on the up and up that they will find a home. It's a very simple supply and demand type mentality right now. There is still a high demand for people to buy homes, higher of a demand than I've ever seen in my entire career of 17 years of doing mortgages. I really don't think rate is going to be a factor in the future for people buying a home, because if the rate does go up, what is it going to go to? The low fours? Well, it's still significantly historically lower than it's been in the last 20 something years.
Yeah.
And I think we lose sight of that, where we have stupid low interest rates right now. So it's so low, but it took a pandemic for us to get there. On average, the Fed buys about 40 billion of mortgage-backed securities a month.
Wow.
So there's nowhere for them to go but up eventually. I do not foresee a crash. I don't. I'm a positive thinker when it comes to that. And maybe you just have to define what crash means. Does that mean we're doing less than what we're doing now? Well, of course, that's eventually going to happen. But a crash to me was 2008 and 2009, where I literally was twiddling my thumbs for 3 months trying to figure out how to find a loan. So
I have to ask you a question, because when you first did your presentation on the BNI, your mortgage, I wasn't an agent in 2008, 2009. I mean, I think I was 18 or 19 at the time. I wasn't paying attention to mortgages.
Right.
So explain to me how it's different, how this economy is different than that one, and why that happened, because you told us that day.
Sure.
So that's a huge difference, because I don't think the average American knows that.
So the main difference is that was an economic collapse because of the mortgage industry. And the mortgage industry is supposed to be the safest bet. Okay, so the mortgage-backed security is supposed to be the safest bet. It is my job as the front line of defense to make sure that I qualify a qualified buyer that has the ability to repay. And it is the underwriter's job to make sure that everything I told him or her is true. And then it is the investor's job to make sure that everything the underwriter cleared is true. So the loans that we have that are being sold and being paid on right now are performing better than they've ever performed in the history of the market. I love Frank Dodd. I love the act. I love the fact that they put so much regulation on having to lend someone $200,000. To me, that is one of the strengths of our market, is because when you know your client closes on a home, the ability for them to repay is strong. In 2008, it's not that the loans that we were selling were so bad, even though that was a small part of it. The big part of it was we were lying. We were telling investors that this person has the ability to repay, and they truly didn't. We were telling them they made X amount of money per month, and they truly didn't. The mortgage industry was very irresponsible. So when you think about the mortgage industry collapse, you're not talking about just people stop buying houses. You're talking about people not paying back the money that they owe because they couldn't. So what happens was, it was not some billionaire off the coast in his yacht smoking a cigar that was getting hurt. It was people that had 401ks and IRAs, because that's what funds the mortgage-backed security market, is people's retirements. So when that crashed, then that crashed, and everybody's retirements went to foot, people started getting laid off. That is what happened. And then it took 2 years for people to be able to start working again and getting back to a point where they could put themselves in buying a house. So with this, what we're seeing, in my opinion, the inventory issue is 10 years after what happened in 2008, because we lost a lot of builders back then. I mean, you can almost count the big builders on 2 hands now. Back then, there was way more builders. And the builders right now are having a hard time keeping up because of supply chain and so forth. So right now, what I think was we have an inventory problem, which created inflation. But every economist I talk to or have listened to right now has said inflation has peaked and it's on its way down. I'm starting to see inventory free up a little bit, and I'm starting to see the dust settle. So the pendulum swung pretty far for about 4 months, but I'm starting to see it even out a little bit. And I think you and I will be busy for quite some time.
I agree.
Yeah. And if we're not busy, we'll be busy enough to provide a living and be able to create home ownership for people. And that's just as good. Steady is good as well. So Corie, thank you so much for coming on today.
Well,
I
thank you for
really
having me.
appreciate it. And Mary Kate, thank you so much for setting this up for us. And I can't wait till she and I get to do this again because she'll be a regular guest. And you guys have any questions or concerns, please give Corie a call. Why don't you give him your details, your information, if you don't mind?
So I'm Corie Minico with Remax at the Lake. My cell phone number is 803-673-3781.
Give her a call. You won't regret it. If you need to sell a house and then go buy a house, let's be regret
Or
it.
home staged or just some
That's right.
invitations,
Or just ask some questions.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Big John, out. Is that good enough?